Don't miss the awesome Naruto stories my sister creates. Her last channel was hacked, so to stay in the loop, please subscribe to her new channel. It would mean a lot to her, and you won't regret it. Hello to all lovers of lemon scenes. I invite you all to my boosty so you can watch your favorite Naruto What If stories in complete comfort. A subscription to Naruto Lemon, the first video with a full lemon, is already on my boosty channel. Dare! October 10th is a day that residents remember forever, the attack of the nine-tailed demon fox. In a bunker. Far from Konoha, the bloody habanero, the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails and the wife of the Yondaime Hokage, Kushina Uzumaki, gave birth. She gave birth to 2 children, a boy and a girl. Ay! Kushina screamed. Hold on, Kushina. The head is visible, said the wife of the 3rd Hokage, Biwako Sarutobi. Naruko was born first, followed by Naruto. He is dark-haired. I became a father, Minato said in a whisper with shock. And I'm a mother, Kushina said exhaustedly. Biwako wanted to take the children to wash them, but her head fell to the floor along with the nurse's head, and the children were caught by a man in a cloak and a mask with one eye cut out. 4th, move away from the Jinchuriki, otherwise your children will suffer the same fate as the 3rd's wife. The man in the mask said coldly. Minato thought about what to do. I warned. Having said this, the masked man threw the children up and pulled out 2 kunai with the sharp side so that their backs fell on these kunai. Minato caught the children at his speed, but heard a hiss. You, as always, are fast yellow lightning, but can you handle it? Asked the man. Minato moved to the barn, where he threw off the diapers from the children and flew out of this barn, which then exploded. Hold on, Kushina, I'll be there soon. Minato thought and moved home and put the children on the bed there, and he put on a cloak with the inscription, Shadow of Fire of the 4th generation. Putting on his cloak, he moved to Kushina, who was tied to the 2 lower stalagmites. Kushina! Minato shouted as he untied Kushina. He released the Kyuubi, Kushina barely said. Minato took Kushina and moved into the house where he put her next to the children. He wanted to leave, but... Where are you going? Asked Kushina. I'll be back soon. Minato said and disappeared in a yellow flash. He ended up on the Hokage's rock, more precisely, on his head. He watched as Kyuubi destroyed buildings and killed people. I will not allow you to riot here. Minato shouted. Kyuubi drew attention to him and began to charge the tailed bomb and sent the Hokage up the mountain at Minato, but he made several seals and pulled a kunai forward. When the bomb approached, a large funnel seal appeared where the bomb was in and it exploded in the distance. Minato felt someone trying to reach him. Turning around sharply, he tried to hit his head with a kunai, but the hand went right through. Minato's POV. My hand went right through? He's trying to me into the funnel. I moved to a field next to the forest, and he appeared in a crater. Who are you? I asked, shouting. It doesn't matter now, the important thing is that you will die soon, said the masked man. He put some chains on his hands, and we rushed at each other. I tried to hit him at least once, but all the blows went through, and then I realized. If my blows go through, then in order for him to attack, he will materialize, which means I need to act faster than him. I came up with a plan while I was fighting with him. So we were running at each other again. I threw a kunai at him, but he, as always, flew right through. When we approached each other, in a split second I created a Rasengan, and when he almost touched me, I disappeared and appeared from behind and hit him with a Rasengan back. Flying Raijin level 2. I said, and put a mark on the enemy. I began to put down seals to suppress the contract. After folding the seals, I teleported into it and put the seal again. Contract suppression seal? You decided to share me with the fox. The masked man shouted. The fox is no longer your toy. I answered him. This time you defeated the fourth, but I'll be back. He said and disappeared into the funnel. I moved to Hiruzen. Where have you been, Minato? Hiruzen asked me. Fought with the attacker. I answered him. We need to seal the fox, otherwise he will destroy the whole village, and I even know who. Hiruzen made a hint. No. Never. I will not seal the fox into my children. I tried to object. Minato, understand, there is no other way out. Either we seal it, or the village will be wiped off the face of the earth. Said the third. Okay, I said and moved into the house. After I appeared at home, I took the children in my arms and wanted to leave. Minato, why do you need children? Asked Kushina. I'll have to seal the fox in them, I said. What? Seal the fox? Did you fall from the oak tree? Do you even know how a Jinchuriki lives? The evil Kushina yelled at me. I know, but there is no other way out, I answered. Okay, but I'll go with you. She said. Kushina and I moved to the clearing and I gave her the children, while I teleported behind the Kyuubi. After Hiruzen was able to banish the Kyuubi away from the village, I moved him to the same clearing. Kushina immediately bound the fox with her chakra chains. I will seal it with the seal of the god of death. I said and created an altar. No way. I want to raise children with you. Kushina screamed. Sorry Kushina, but I have to. I answered her and took the children whose children I placed on the altar. I made the seals and a Shinigami appeared behind me. Shinigami-sama, seal the fox into these children. The light part in Naruko, the dark part in Naruto. I told him and pointed to the children. The Shinigami nodded and began sealing, but one of Kushina's chains weakened and the fox had the opportunity to kill the children. But I closed them with my body and Kushina immediately appeared and we were pierced through. For what? I asked her. I'm their mother, shouldn't I take care of my children? Kushina asked me. I just smiled at this. Tell the children parting words. I told her. Naruto, be obedient, eat healthy food, don't be capricious, study well, find at least one real friend, don't drink until you're 18, don't hang out with Jiraiya, he's a big pervert. I'm sorry I took Minato all your time, Kushina said with tears in her eyes. Nothing. I wanted to tell you everything that your talkative mother said. Seal of the Death God. I shouted the last words and Shinigami pulled out the soul. End POV Minato. After Minato died in the clearing, Hiruzen came running, accompanied by Anbu. He saw two bodies and an altar on which there were two children. He ran up to Kushina as she was breathing. Hold on Kushina. We will cure you. Hiruzen shouted. I don't need the end anyway, please take care of Naruko and Naruto, she said and died. Okay. May you rest in peace Kushina. Hiruzen said. Anbu, help me with the bodies and convene a council of elders and clan heads. After an hour. There were already elders and clan heads in the council room, and Hiruzen had just entered. Hello, thank you for gathering after this incident. Now we have two questions. First, who will be the next Hokage? And second, what to do with the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki? Who is the Jinchuriki now? Asked Elder Hamura Mitokado. Children of Minato, Naruko and Naruto. Hiruzen replied. Give them to me at the root, I will make them into excellent weapons for the village, and they will obey any order, even to the point of committing suicide. Said an old man with a bandaged right side of his face and a cross scar on his chin. No, Danzo will not give them to you at the root. Hiruzen objected. Danzo snorted. I propose to send them to an orphanage under the name Uzumaki and hide who their parents are and the fact that they are Jinchuriki. said the man with pineapple hair and the head of the Nara clan, Shikaku Nara. Let's vote. Who is in favor of giving the Jinchuriki to the root? Hands up. Hiruzen started voting. No one raised their hand except the elders. Who is in favor of placing Jinchuriki in an orphanage? Asked Hiruzen. Everyone raised their hand except the elders. Okay, then we are giving the Jinchuriki to the shelter. Hiruzen said. In his heart, he was glad that he would not have to give the children to Shimura because he could turn them into emotionless killing machines, and Hiruzen did not want that. So now the question is, who will be the next Hokage? Sarutobi started. I offer my confectionery. Danzo said. Hiruzen remained silent to this. I propose to return the third Hokage to the post because he has experience in this position, said the head of the Uchiha clan, Fugaku Uchiha. Everyone raised their hand except Danzo. The council is declared closed, everyone is free. Hiruzen said and left the hall. Based on root. ov Hiruzen. Well, never mind, the QB will be mine, as will the post of Hokage. Danzo was rampaging in his office. Cat, bull. Anbu wearing a cat and a bull mask appeared in the office. Spread rumors about the Jinchuriki, but keep silent about the parents. Danzo said. Hi. They said and disappeared. We can only wait, Danzo said and sat down on the chair. Time skip, 5 years. After the residents found out that Naruto and Naruko were Jinchuriki and they hated the kids, they were often insulted and beaten at the orphanage, but after one incident they were evicted from the orphanage. Flashback. POV Naruto. I was in the toilet, there are sinks there, and was washing my face when a guy came in, about my age, and started calling me names and saying that I was a demon and the like. How am I sick of this, every day the same thing, and why? Why does Naruko always endure this, how and why? I'm already tired of this, even for her sake, there is an end to everything, and now this was the last straw. Am I a demon? I'll show him a demon now. I thought. Matsuda, come here, please. What do you want, demon? He asked me. Die. I said, and I hit his head on the sink. He started screaming like he was killed, but I covered his mouth with my hand. Shut up, otherwise I'll kill you. I took a piece of a broken shell and hammered it into his side. Now you feel the pain that you and your sister bring to me almost every day, I said, and he passed out from the shock of pain. I pulled out this fragment and licked the blood that was on it. Quite tasty, I said, and heard a woman scream from behind. I looked at the one who screamed with a crazy smile over her right shoulder. It was the teacher. Demon. She screamed and ran away screaming. Yes. Now this nickname suits me, he. I said and left the toilet. POV teacher. Flashback. I was sitting in the dining room and watching the children who were eating, but I still don't see Matsuda and Demon. When I heard a dull knock and a scream that suddenly stopped, I went to the toilet. Opening the door, I saw a terrible picture, a broken shell, Matsuda lying in blood, and a demon licking something. Pretty tasty, came from him. This made me accidentally scream, and he looked at me with a crazy smile. Demon. I screamed and ran to the director of the shelter. In the director's office. I ran into the director's office. There was a man about 40 sitting there in a business suit. He was bald. Aimi, what happened? He asked me. Akura-san, demon, I think he killed Matsuda in the toilet, I said, stuttering. Which one? He asked me. Naruto, I answered. Let's go to the Hokage, but first we'll go to the toilet and check on Matsuda, otherwise you left him right there. He said, and I nodded automatically. End teacher's POV. After Aimi and Akura took Matsuda to the hospital, they were informed that he was alive and they breathed a sigh of relief. They went to the Hokage. In the Hokage's office. Akura and Aimi knocked and heard, "Come in." "Hello, Hokage-sama." Akura greeted. "Hello, did something happen?" The Hokage asked them, raising his gaze. "Can you evict Naruko Uzumaki and put Naruto in isolation?" asked the Hokage, Akura. "For what?" The Hokage was stunned by such a question. "Naruko so that she would become a shinobi, and Naruto because he is too dangerous, he almost killed one of the orphans." Aimi gave her voice. "I can evict both of them," said the Hokage. "And then they won't bother you." "Well, let's do it this way," Akura said together with the teacher. At the shelter. "Aimi, call Naruto and Naruko to me." Akura gave the order. "Fine," she said and went after them. In Naruko and Naruto's room. POV Naruto. I was sitting with my sister in the room and reading a book. And she came up to me. "What are you doing?" my sister asked me. How can you always be so kind and positive? I don't understand, but I can't. It doesn't matter." I answered her coldly. "So, say. Tell me. My sister begged me. She made such a cute little face, those eyes are like a jumping body with arms folded together. What a fool she is after all, but she's the only one of everyone who probably somehow impresses me. Do you see the book in your hands?" I asked her in an icy voice. She got used to this voice because I often talk to her like that. "I see," she answered me. "What do they do with the help of a book?" I hint. "Are you reading or what?" she asked. It's finally arrived. I was happy. In general, it rarely happens when I am happy. It even surprised me a little. If not for the situation and circumstances, I would definitely be touched by such a reaction, but now it was not the time for the teacher to come into the room. "Aimi-san?" Naruko asked, and I looked at her with cold, no icy eyes. "The director is calling you," she said and tried to turn away from my gaze and just left. It's like we didn't do anything. My sister thought out loud. "There was one incident here," I said. "Which?" she asked a natural question. "Then I'll tell you, we need to see the director." I answered her and walked towards the door. "Are you coming?" Yes. She said and we went to the director together. In the director's office. "Have you called us, Akura-san?" I asked with a cold tone. "Yes. You were given an apartment in a hostel, here are the keys, the address is on the tag, and in the envelope there is money for food 10,000 ryo. He said and gave us the keys and some kind of envelope. "Is this related to that incident?" I asked him. "Yes. Everyone, go," he said and sat back at the table and began to sort out the papers. And finally he gave us a look. However, I'm already used to this, unlike Naruko. What can I say? That trash got what it deserved, not to run into us every day. Once he almost cut Naruko with a broken bottle, just for fun. It was lucky that I was nearby, however, his life then seems to be nothing didn't teach. We left the office. "Well, what incident?" the sister asked again. "When we get to the new house, I'll tell you." Not really wanting to talk about it, especially since I snapped on the street. "You are clown annoying," she said shouting. Here I even ate and nothing strange, with us, especially me, words are often given more forcefully. However, I can keep myself under control, often. "You're not patient," I said calmly, ignoring her indignation. I went to look for our new address. We left the shelter and walked towards the dorm. All the way we were stared at by these looks full of contempt and hatred. These looks. Someday I will get out of here or even take revenge on you, I thought. We approached the house and examined it from the outside. Ruins. But at least there's somewhere to live, I said with a sigh. It's true. Okay, let's go there. Naruko said and ran into the house. We went into the house. It had peeling wallpaper, the floors creaked, the furniture was held up by snot, and there was one double bed, but at least there was electricity. We need to buy food. I'll go and buy it myself, okay? I said. Naruto is wearing a black t-shirt, black shorts with black shinobi sandals. Naruko is wearing a green long-sleeve t-shirt and on top of it another white t-shirt. With a whirlpool sign on the chest and a black skirt with sandals. Yes. She answered. And we're also starting to train. We'll choose a training ground today, and we'll start tomorrow. And regarding the incident, I just beat Matsuda to, bad condition, that's all. I said. You, as always, climb somewhere, and then take the rap. She said. Sis, when will you understand that the world is not black and white, that almost all people are black, although they pretend to be sheep? However, perhaps there are white ones too. I looked at her. Even though she's sulking now. But I don't know. But I promise, you will become strong and no one can harm you, but for this you need to become more seriously. Let's start little by little. First we need to finish this dialogue. But at least I don't paint the Hokage mountains, unlike some. I answered her. In general, I went to get food. You sit here and don't stick your head out, understand? I asked. Yes. She said, looking a little upset, and I left for the store. I'm sorry, but it's necessary. It will only get worse, but I think you can handle it. You're my sister. I rarely call her that in my thoughts. After 10 minutes. I returned from the store with 10 packs of instant ramen and they sold it to me at an inflated price. Like 1 Ryo equals 10 Ryo, ramen 23 Ryo equals 230 Ryo 1 pack and multiply by 10 is equal to 2,300 Ryo. The seller inflated the prices. I complained. In 3 years we will enter the academy. I hope to find friends there. Said a smiling Naruko. Well, Naruko, as always, sees the positive in everything. Kicked out of the orphanage? That means we're adults. And soon she'll go to the academy, and there, she even missed my words. I don't hope to find them because they might throw them at the right moment, I said, sighing. And this is the honest truth. In all the years that I have been aware of myself, I have never seen a person be honest with us. I don't know, as if I feel it in my subconscious, and it's all strange, but that's later. It's too early in this corner. Why is it so difficult with you? Asked Naruko. Maybe because I'm smarter than some? I asked completely calmly. Do you think I'm stupid? Naruko exploded. That's not what I meant at all, however, that's the point. But I'll never say that, at least not yet. But we have to start somewhere. No, you're not stupid, you're clown than a wine cork. I answered with a grin. Naruko's hair rose into the air and was divided into 9 strands. She was very angry and hit the head with all her might and immediately calmed down. I shouted hissingly. You got what you deserved. Said the sister with a smile. Sometimes it seems to me that she took after someone like that. However, the power is there, but you need to be able to use it. It's okay, we'll learn, together. Sorry, I won't do it again, I apologized to her. So that? She said with a victorious tone. Well. Hello or something. At first it disappeared, and then the fanfiction froze completely. Still, laziness got the better of me, but I came back, which means I defeated it. Hee. As you can see, I replaced Satsuki's name with Sasuke in the description. I'll be honest, the name is moronic. Scene 1, July 27, 2021, 1949. Time skip, 2 years. A boy of about 8 years old is training at one of the Konoha training grounds. he sits in the lotus position and tries to awaken chakra. POV Naruto. I've been trying to awaken the chakra for about 2 hours, but nothing works. I opened my eyes and found myself in some kind of sewer. Where am I? I said out loud. Deciding to look around, I saw pipes on the ceiling and on the floor. Water was dripping from them and I was standing ankle deep in it. I moved on because I have no other options. It felt like I walked for a long time, but still I came out into a large hall with a huge cage, behind which I could hear either snorting or a growl with snoring. On the cell there is some piece of paper with the kanji seal of the 8 trigrams. The seal of the 8 trigrams? I hope this is a guess, I thought. I began to examine the walls on which there were some patterns, and on the gates there were exactly the same patterns. Is this my vessel? Pathetic brat. Sounded behind the cage. I turned around and saw 2 blood-red eyes like mine, looking as if into my soul, but I was not taken aback and began to glare at him with an emotionless gaze. He just grinned. Well, let's get acquainted, insensitive. Someone said with a grin. Who are you? I asked. My name is Kyubi no Yoko. It said. And then I saw him. He came out into the light, 9 huge tails of the gigantic size of foxes developing behind his back. His fur was dark red in color. My guess was confirmed, I thought. I began to suspect that something was wrong here. Kyubi no Yoko is the nickname that people gave him. Kyubi watched the actions of the Jinchuriki. He did not feel fear from him as such or a thirst for power, although he clearly wanted to become stronger. Most likely he's just as much a coward, but why do I doubt it? The man was still silent, pondering something about the emotions on his face, as their background jumped at cosmic speed. Naruto was silent and tried to decide something, glancing at the fox, who bristled and sometimes growled. And yet he is the same piece of meat as the rest, weak and cowardly, no matter what. But this is a pseudonym, isn't it? What is your real name? I asked. Books, and even ordinary people, say that he is a clot of chakra consisting of hatred. But I don't think so, because often such demons are created by people themselves, and then they are afraid of them. Kyubi began to glare at me with an unreadable gaze. End POV Naruto. POV Kyubi. Am I real name? More than 1,000 years have passed since my father called me him. And the same amount since the last time anyone was interested in him. Real name? I asked again, hoping that I didn't hear it wrong. He just nodded. Kurama, I said quietly, but he heard me. I named him my vessel. And yet there is little hope that a person will understand that we, the Biju, are not only an instrument of war and the balance of countries. We are also living beings who experience emotions. Guy, although I won't admit it, perhaps you are my last hope for faith in humanity, I thought. Naruto thought again for a few minutes, as did Kurama, but the latter had already more or less calmed down his thoughts and was watching the Jinchuriki, whose thoughts were still racing at an even greater speed, and his emotions were flying faster than the water dragon seals from Kakashi's hands. Here he extended his hand. Let's be friends? He asked with glimmers of hope. Friends? The word was said with an exhaled growl so strong that Naruto was almost blown away from the cage. Naruto tensed, the fox's voice changed, and his gaze seemed to pass through him, as if he were not there. He was already thinking about options for retreat, because the fox knows him. How about? I handed him my claw. Perhaps someday we will. Let's see, but for now, stretch out your claw, little thing. End POV Kyubi. So, now all that remains is to understand whether I awakened the hearth, Naruto said and grabbed his chin. Woke up. The chakra is red. Perhaps my first friend said. Red? Okay. Naruto said. In order for us to communicate mentally, we need to break the seal a little. He said. Naruto looked at him blankly. Don't piss, I'm not going to break out of you. Still, somehow I have to train you, I don't need a weak Jinchuriki. He said. Again the blank look. Exactly. He said and made a paw face. Suddenly Naruto was suddenly lifted upward by a whirlpool, right to the level of the seal. He reached for the seal and began to tear it. The action took place, but nothing changed, it even seemed to somehow puzzle the fox. However, he was not at a loss, it was interesting that this happened, or did not happen. Enough. It's enough, said Kurama. Fine, Naruto said, and he was lowered to the floor. Now, come out of the subconscious, let's check the connection, he said. The brunette came out of his subconscious and found himself in the same place where he began to awaken the hearth. Do you hear me? Sounded in my head. Yes, Naruto said. Try to say it mentally, otherwise if you talk like that, they'll think you're a crazy person, Kurama said. Like this? Naruto asked again. Exactly. So, let's start training. What were you doing at the moment? The redhead asked me. Awakened the hearth. I spoke in the subconscious. Naruto answered the question. Okay, we passed, that's not the point. Pick a leaf from any tree, said the demon. The Jinchuriki walked to the nearest tree and plucked a leaf. Great. Now put it on your forehead and use chakra, try to interact with it first, and then move it with chakra. Kurama gave instructions. 2 hours later. POV Naruto. Everything wasn't going very well. At my first interaction the piece of paper simply burned up, but he didn't understand why, and as Kurama said, if you don't manage to interact, it will fly away from your head. He himself didn't understand why until it dawned on him. If everything fits, and I hope everything does, then you can control fire without the help of seals and change its shape, in other words, my ability is only improved. He said the reason. And how to check? I asked, already tired. Try to concentrate all the chakra in your hand. Kurama gave instructions. Having concentrated all the chakra, the brush lit up with a blue flame. This is 6,000 degrees, thought Kurama. Quickly. Stop concentrating your chakra. I stopped concentrating and it disappeared. I examined the brush and found no damage. No damage? Strange. Even very. Thought Red Rug. Kurama, I'm tired. When to go home? It's already sunset. I complained. Go now. We'll continue tomorrow, Kurama said, and was lost in thought. Walking into an alley beyond which there was a dead end, I turned around and wanted to leave, but then 2 chunin stood in my way. Gotcha, said one of them. The second one had a full bottle of sake in his hands. Kurama, what should I do? I asked, frightened. Run, he said. I followed the command and ran, but miscalculated. I wanted to run between them, but they grabbed me and threw me on my back. You're about to get a small burn, the one with the bottle of sake in his hand said with a crazy smile. What are you going to do? I asked with fear. We'll spoil your face a little, the chunin said, and poured out almost the entire bottle of sake. End POV Naruto. Creatures. My hate for people is only increasing again. I can't even help Naruto with anything. If I give chakra, I can be resealed, and this can't be allowed, though he is no one to me, but not today. What to do? The fox yelled in his thoughts while he watched the torment of his vessel. Okay. It wasn't. He had already begun to pour chakra into Naruto, but he just didn't have time. And Konoha Central Hospital. There were 2 people in the room, not counting the patient himself. Kakashi, go for a walk with Naruko, I need to talk to Naruto alone, said the third Hokage. Hi. The elite Jounin said and walked out the door. Hiruzen turned to Naruto. His face was all bandaged except for his eyes and mouth. And there was such an empty look that scared the old Hokage a little. Naruto, how are you? The Hokage asked worriedly. This old man again, and where were he and his help when they were needed so much? Again, his pity after what happened, and there are no changes or progress in any direction. Yes, and he himself is hiding something. Every time you feel such an emotion, and I hate pity. No way. Naruto croaked. Not only was he hurt, but he also killed 2 attackers. Thank Kami, he himself is alive, thought Hiruzen. Naruto, can you tell me what happened? Hiruzen asked quietly. Flashback. Some of the sake was poured onto Naruto's face while one of the Chunin held him. Feel the pain you brought 8 years ago, demon, said the Chunin. He took out matches from his vest pocket and lit one, throwing it at Naruto. His face lit up like a match. The brunette's scream echoed throughout the alley and he screamed in agony of pain. He bowed his head, stopping shouting. Naruto began to become covered in red bubbling chakra with one tail, and the fire was mysteriously extinguished. Here the brunette sharply raised his head, fixing his gaze on these 2. They were about to run, but Naruto rushed at them and pierced the body of one with his hand, and the other with his chakra paw. They fell dead and Naruto simply passed out. End flashback. So he remained conscious when using the Kyuubi's chakra? He simply gave him chakra, and did not take over his body. Strange, thought Old Man 3. I want to leave here, Hokage-sama. Naruto's empty voice sounded. When the doctor discharges you, then we'll go, Hiruzen said. And there was 10 minutes of silence. Everyone was thinking about their own things. Hiruzen glanced at Naruto and thought about one thing. The latter generally seemed to stop paying attention to the old man, as if he were a piece of garbage. However, in a sense, this is not so far from the truth. The head doctor entered the room and looked at the patient and the Hokage. I'll now remove the bandages from Naruto's face, and then we'll see if he needs to smear something or not, the head doctor said. Get started, Kazuma-san given the order to the Hokage. He walked up to Naruto and began to remove the bandages, and discovered that there was not a single burn mark. Is this the regeneration of the Kyuubi? Kazama thought, dumbfounded. He can be discharged. The burns have healed, said the head physician of the central hospital. Fine. Naruto, let's go, said the third Hokage. Boy, are you alive there? It sounded like a strange voice in the boy's head. Pfft, as you can see for yourself. Those Chunin. Kurama interrupted Naruto. You killed them. Are you tormented by guilt? He asked. No. I really only felt pleasure. You know, you're like a wolf in sheep's clothing or a predator in a herd of sheep, Naruto said without emotion. I see. I went on to sleep, the carpet said, and broke the connection. Walking down the street, Naruto caught the same looks of hatred and now gloating. The news that he was set on fire spread faster than the Hiraishin of the second Hokage. We came, Hiruzen said. Naruto looked at the building and realized that it was an office supply store. Why do we need to come here? Naruto asked in confusion. Kakashi and Naruko should be here, said the third, and entered the store. Following the Hokage, he also entered this store. Not paying attention to anything, he calmly follows Hiruzen, who is looking for platinum hair and blonde between the rows. And they were found. Kakashi noticed that someone was nearby and turned to see Naruto and the third. Naruko also turned around, and when she saw her brother, she rushed towards him. You're alive, Naruko muttered while hugging him. And why is she, she saw someone who woke up in the hospital, but it was as if he had returned from the war. We hadn't seen each other for a maximum of an hour. Yes, I'm alive, Naruto said indifferently. The next day. POV Naruto. Today is the day of entering the academy. Getting out of bed, I looked at the clock. The time was 7:08 a.m. And the ceremony is at 8:30. I muttered. Good morning, schoolboy. Haha, said Kurama. And you won't get sick, rug, I said with a grin. What did you call me? The rug asked angrily. With a rug, I answered. Yes, I wanted to come up with a threat, but... Oh, come on. I almost laughed throughout the entire apartment from Kurama's hopelessness. I went to my sister's room in order to wake up this fool. Entering the room, I saw orange wallpaper. On the wooden table was a plush toy in the shape of a fox. The floor is very creaky as the building was built during the time of the first Hokage. Approaching my sister's bed, only her head peeked out from under the blanket. Hey! Get up, we're going to the academy today, I said and started shaking her. Well, 5 more minutes, this blonde muttered. No, you won't become Hokage this way. And she instantly blew herself up. I know what to hook her on, I thought. And I'm not sleeping anymore, she said with a smile. Come on, future Hokage, let's go to the bath already, I said. Yeah, she said and rushed into the bathroom. And she just emanates optimism, I heard in my head. I agree, rug, I said. Kurama shouted and broke the connection. Ha 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 ha. I laughed at everything in my subconscious. Academy. Naruko and I arrived on time. She put on her killer orange suit and blue sneakers, and I wore a black plain t-shirt, black shorts and red sneakers. This is where my path to Hokage will begin, she said with her eyes glowing with joy. I looked at this rabble of people indifferently, but the third Hokage came out onto the roof of the academy. The third began to talk about the will of fire, about shinobi and other similar. When Naruko listened, she simply shone with happiness, but I realized that this was just propaganda and didn't even listen. Meanwhile, I was studying the surroundings, Naruko with her eyes shining from the Hokage's words. Hey, sister, I hope you'll wise up someday. I'll try to do this as best I can. Clan upstarts, some also listen with eyes worth 5 kopecks, some simply study their surroundings or even communicate with their parents. It doesn't matter. I thought about this question so much that I became a little gloomy. This even Naruko noticed, who tried to stir me up, but she succeeded. An hour and a half later we were sent to our classes. Entering their class, everyone else suddenly fell silent. I hope no one will get here, I thought. And no one started showing off, they just started whispering that I didn't like it. Do you want mass genocide? I asked in an icy voice. And everyone immediately stopped whispering. I grinned at this. So children, let's all sit down. The teacher entered the class. Everyone took their places. I'm on the last desk of the 3rd row, and Naruko is on the penultimate desk of the 2nd row. My name is Irika Yumino, you can call me Irika-sensei. I am your class teacher and I will be your teacher, teacher introduced himself. Let's start our lesson, Irika said. POV Naruto. For 4 years I endured these people. Their ridicule, bullying. Say that I am a demon, but I am not one, but I will definitely become one. You'll see. This OWA is an Uchiha. Her clan was slaughtered, her brother forced her into darkness. An alley near the Uchiha clan territory. Do you think you live by hatred and revenge on your brother? Look at me. I was born into hatred, I grew up with it. I am thoroughly saturated with it. And you? I just tried the smallest part of this creation. I grabbed her by the throat and began to strangle her a little. And what are you trying to say? Said Sasuke, trying to break free from the grip. I am hatred itself, Uchiha. Look what she did to me. I turned into the monster that people see in me. Hee, I said in a crazy, quiet voice, but looking madly at her. End POV Naruto. Sasuke's POV. What will you feel like when your whole family was killed before your eyes? Don't you want to take revenge? I asked, shouting. I looked into his half-open cold eyelids, and from there I read complete indifference. I don't understand this, he said with complete indifference. This is exactly what you must not understand. I had a mother and a father and a brother, I love them very much, and you don't have this except your sister. I shouted in a fit of emotion. I started crying. For the first time in 4 years, I began to cry, remembering all the time spent with Itachi. It hurts my soul so much, it flashed through my head. You had parental care. But my sister and I didn't. And she and I are completely different people. His steely voice sounded. I couldn't understand where it was leading, but I understood. She is light. You. Darkness, he interrupted me. You think correctly. I am the darkness of Naruko. End POV Sasuke. Sasuke began to struggle because there was not enough air, but from Naruto there was a strong blow to the stomach charged with chakra. All the air left her lungs and she fell to her knees, beginning to cough. At this rate, you won't kill Itachi, Uchiha, he said coldly and left the alley. Sasuke stood up, staggering from the pain in her stomach, and thought. But he's right. I need to train even more. But his words about Naruko's darkness scare me. Either he really will become a demon or I don't know. But I guess he's still right about hatred. He's lived in it since birth. So stop, why did I start agreeing with what he says? If we talk about Naruto, his character has become even worse. He doesn't speak to anyone except his sister and his rug, but even then somehow. His gaze has completely frozen, now there is no that sometimes smiling Naruto, there is only a cold, closed and half-mad Naruto. Enduring the bullying of residents and classmates, Naruto fell deeper and deeper into darkness and did not even think of getting out of it. As for clothes, our 12-year-old Naruto began to wear long fingerless gloves, black jeans, a black long t-shirt, and red sneakers. During these 4 years, he really rose in strength level. He was able to curb the blue fire, which he nicknamed Blue Hell. He discovered the elements, these are the same blue Katon and Raiton. He began to train Raiton and slowly succeeded in this. In Taijutsu, he got up very well, kurama, and naturally the books helped with this. Okay, let's fast forward to Naruko. Her character has hardly changed at all and has become extremely violent. In fact, she is like canon Naruto, only a little stronger. Time 2:51 a.m. Naruko's POV. I got out of bed and looked at the clock. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's still not home. Should I go look for him? I thought about it and finally decided. Aren't you sitting at home? I heard it in my head. Kurama? Why aren't you sleeping? I asked. I don't feel like it anymore. So, where are you going? He asked me directly. Look for your brother. I answered. Listen, go back to bed and go to sleep. It won't go to waste. He said. I didn't listen and dressed in a t-shirt and shorts with blue sneakers. Once outside, I headed towards the main street. After 10 minutes, I went out onto the main street and didn't find anyone, so I went to the training ground. Walking past a 24-hour bar, I saw 3 tipsy jounin coming out. I walked past them and they didn't notice me. Glory to Kami. I found Naruto walking along the road towards the Uchiha quarter. "Naruto!" I shouted. Turning around, he made a puzzled look. "Where are you from?" he asked. "I have the same question." I shouted at him. "Well, I'm like a mother, by God. This question does not concern me. Answer mine," he said emotionlessly. "I was looking for you." I answered with a snort. "I'm heading to the Uchiha," he said as he continued on his way. I followed him to find out what was on this idiot's mind. "Naruko, I don't like this. His chakra is completely dark, but red and burning like mine," Kurama said. "If he planned to kill Sasuke," I started. "We have one option. This is," Kurama continued. Stop him. We've finished. End POV Naruko. POV Naruto. Entering the territory of the Uchiha clan, I stopped abruptly. "Well, why did we come here?" It was heard in the brunette's head. "For some documents," I answered. "Which ones?" The question came again. "About the coup of the Uchiha clan," I told him. The Uchiha clan wanted to overthrow the government in the village with the help of a coup d'état. Hiruzen tried to peacefully resolve the conflict, but Danzo decided to destroy the Red-Eyed clan. "Have you forgotten how we got into the Root Archive?" I reminded him. "Ah. I remembered everything. He also appropriated some Sharingans for himself. But aren't those documents enough? Like Danzo was involved in this, but we won't remove him or what?" asked Red. "No, although I made a copy of those documents, this is not yet enough to remove this senile person, and even more so, we don't have enough strength to do this yet," I said. In my opinion, there was a Sharingan that was capable of casting strong illusions, and with their help you could control a person? Asked Kovrik, as if remembering. Yes. From the root archives that I read, there was a Sharingan bearer named Shursui. This old man believed that Kotoamatsukami wasting the head of the clan was an absurd act, and in a battle against Shursui he took his Sharingan. Here I agree with Danzo. Having used it on Fugaku Kotoamatsukami, the elders would have suspected something was wrong and would have removed Fugaku and put their own man in his place. We arrived at Sasuke's house and I took out my master key. "Stay here, Naruko, and watch the noise," I said and opened the door with a master key. "Well, okay," she said and stood outside the door. When I entered Sasuke's house, I didn't find anything like that. Of course, everything here is expensive, but I expected to see something made of gold here. Haha. Oblamingo guy. It sounded in my head. Fugaku's office was on the second floor. Having gone inside, I immediately began to rummage through his folders, climb through the drawers, but I did not find anything about this. There must be at least something. I was quietly nervous. I noticed one folder that I had not yet opened. Opening it, I found only reports from missions and urban unrest, so to speak. And there's nothing. Stop. I scrolled back a page and found Uchiha Itachi's report. Boy. These are the actions of the Hokage and the elders towards the Uchiha? Kurama asked dumbfounded. He was a double agent? I was perplexed. I don't understand anything. Give me the documents about the coup. I was already quietly angry. Noticing the bottom of the box, I thought, maybe there's a second bottom? And you know? Indeed, under the bottom, there was some kind of button that I pressed. I heard something click. Paying attention to the picture, I realized that there was a cache there. Too corny. Opening it, I saw two more folders. Taking two of them, I read the name ANBU Root Report and on the second folder, coup. From this folder, I found out that Shimura had already tried to take away the Sharingan, but Fugaku did not allow him to do this, since he suspected the senile man of shady dealings, and they were confirmed. Shortly before the massacre, an Uchiha spy made his way to the root base and read in reports that the Konoha advisor was conducting illegal experiments with the cooperation of Orochimaru, but immediately after a couple of experiments he broke off the cooperation and left into the sunset. There were corpses of Uchihas who died or disappeared on missions. Missing children aged 5 years and older have been found. He put a spoke in the wheels of the fourth Hokage. Since Shimura intended to take his title, he found this new Nin who attacked Konoha 12 years ago and took the chance that the fourth would finally die and take his title, but that was not the case. Hiruzen returned to the post and his whole plan went down the drain. The spy was killed, but he managed to send this report. Do you even understand what this is? Kurama asked me. This? Compromising information on Danzo. He was afraid that he would be discovered, which is what happened. He began to prepare a conspiracy against the Uchihas, and in response they began to prepare a coup. I explained it step by step. The sound of the door to the former head's office opening was heard. Your mother. Kurama and I thought. POV Naruko. More than 30 minutes had passed and Naruto still hadn't come out. He took a long time, flashed through my head. I was about to go into the house when I heard a fuss and sounds like blows. I took a step forward towards the door, but everything inside me screamed for me to step aside. Stepping aside, I saw my brother who flew out along with the door. What the? I thought, scared. You broke into my house and tried to rob me. Return what you took from my father's office or I will kill you, Uzumaki Naruto. Sasuke screamed. End POV Naruko. Having somersaulted in the air, Naruto landed on his feet and began to hold onto the ground with his hand so as not to fly further. Again this insignificant crybaby Uchiha, how could someone like Itachi have such a stupid sister? Again my adrenaline is rising, how she infuriates me, how everything infuriates me. I'm here trying to get documents, but, on them. Now I want. What do I want? I don't know, an interesting battle finally. Or kill her. Standing up to his full height, he said in a passionate voice. Come on. Maybe it'll be more interesting to dance with you. Out of anger, Sasuke rushed at Naruto, but he stood calmly. A second later, he extended his hand, with a crazy smile on his face. Bururu, Haraburasuto, he shouted. It was a wonderful sight. A huge pillar of blue flame reaching the roof of Sasuke's house, and it was 2 stories high. I remind you of this. Sasuke avoided the attack by reaction, replacing herself with a log and ended up behind Naruto. I was waiting for this. It flashed through his head. Naruko still couldn't move away from the attack Naruto used. Too spectacular, she thought. Sasuke wanted to hit Naruto in the back of the head, but he sharply dodged and pulled her hand towards him, meeting her with a strong kick to Sasuke's stomach. The air left her lungs, and she herself crashed into the wall, sliding to the ground. Cough cough cough, Sasuke coughed. She was able to focus her gaze on Naruto. Behind him, a blue fire burned as the consequences of the technique. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his red eyes with a predatory pupil glowed peeping out of a black high-neck jacket. His hands were tucked into the pockets of his pants, and he wore red sneakers. An almost ear-to-ear grin appeared on his face. Sasuke read his gaze, which described his mockery and the fact that she was trash. He pointed his hand towards Sasuke and wanted to release a new technique like this. Put your hand down, Naruto, Naruko's cold voice was heard. Naruto felt a cold sensation on his neck, which turned out to be a kunai. What if I don't put it down? He asked in a calm voice. Once again I'll put your brains back in place myself. The answer didn't take long to come. And things are starting to gain momentum. And I like it. Naruto flashed through his head with a crazy laugh. The brunette's laughter was heard. Why are you laughing? She pressed the kunai harder to her throat. A squad of ANBU is already heading here to finish us off, or the instigator and more. Here Naruto was interrupted by his insane laughter. I release fire from any part of the body. And a small explosion occurred from his back, from which Naruko jumped away. She moved in the shunshin and found herself next to Sasuke and offered her a shoulder. Can you run? She asked quietly. What are you thinking, Uzumaki? Asked the last of the Uchihas. Now put down your pride and answer my question. We don't have much time. Naruko said, watching her brother's actions. Yes, I can, Sasuke answered. Okay, run to the Hokage and ask to call more ANBU because my brother. He seems to have gone crazy. Run now, I'll delay him as long as I can. I gave the order to Naruko in a trembling voice. Okay, she said and rushed as fast as she could to the Hokage. She ran away, but it's a pity, but she's a coward. What can you take from her? Naruto said. We still have time to play, don't you mind? Asked Naruko. The answer was Naruto's jerk towards the blonde. Naruko also jumped up and ran towards him. They met with elbows and began exchanging blows. Naruko hit Naruto in the face with her right hand and wanted to do the same with her left, but it just didn't work out. He dodged a little crouching, but was met by Naruko's knee, which he caught with his hand. When Naruto realized that Naruko was on one leg, he made a sweep, but she did not fall, but did a somersault in the air and landed on her feet. She rushed at him again and this time she kicked him in the body with a roundhouse. Naruko decided to attack him with quick attacks, so at least she could wear him down. She began the attack with a quick blow with her right hand, and then with her left, but he dodged everyone, and this time he blocked a kick to the right side. She made a roundhouse hit to the head, but he dodged it by squatting again. He jumped back and expected Naruko to attack again. She sped up and tried to hit with a right hook, but he dodged again, going behind her back. She delivered 2 blows, but he also dodged them by moving his pelvis forward. It's getting more interesting. Naruto's words sounded with genuine excitement. He started to move away when Naruko started trying to throw kicks. 2 punches and missed again. When will I get there? Naruko was angry. I see he's trained his reflexes. I heard it in my head. He parried the kick, but caught the fist. And you're annoying, he said with a grin. Grabbing the hand, he sharply pulled it towards himself, spinning it, and then releasing it hit her in the jaw, causing Naruko to fly off, but she was met by a Naruto clone who hit her in the back, launching her back to his original. Naruto moved away a little and she flew into the wall, but all that was left of her was a white haze. See clone? But when? Naruto was perplexed. He turned around and was met with a left hook from Naruko, a kick to the side charged with chakra, and then another kick to the face sent him flying into the wall, but he stood up and said, "Wow. I liked this trick, but now I don't know. Should I kill you or not? Naruko, it's time to switch to techniques, otherwise you won't defeat him," was heard in the blonde's head. Fine. Futon, Detapa, Naruko said, and a huge stream of air flew out of her mouth, which transformed into a wind of enormous power. From this attack, Naruto had to cover himself with his hands and use chakra to stick to the surface so as not to fly away. What the? Said Naruto, who did not understand anything. After the wind died down, Naruto came to his senses and used the technique. Bururu, Moro Ringu. A circular barrier of blue flames appeared around Naruko. An ANBU appeared behind Naruto and grabbed him and pinned him to the ground. Before Sasuke ran to the Hokage's residence, and when she entered, she was met by the secretary. "Girl, the Hokage will receive people tomorrow. You can't go there anymore," she said in a kind voice. "Is he still here?" "This concerns Naruko Uzumaki and her brother," said Sasuke. "These 2 demons?" And what happened to them? She asked with hatred in her voice. I definitely won't tell you this, but only the Hokage, the brunette responded in a cold voice. And yet she missed the Uchiha. After knocking on the door and receiving approval, she entered the office. Sasuke? What brings you to this late hour? He asked with excitement. You saw that blue flame? She asked. Yes, I saw that my ANBU had already moved there to investigate. Is this in your neighborhood? Hiruzen ended the monologue with a question. Yes. I know who the instigator of this is, she said. Who? Hiruzen asked interestedly. Naruto Uzumaki. In general, Naruko told me that you should send more ANBU there, she told Sasuke in an exciting tone. And did Naruto arrange this? But why? And why more ANBU? Hiruzen asked stuttering. He's gone off the rails, nothing can hold him back now. Not only will he destroy the neighborhood, but he will also kill Naruko. Please send more ANBU, in the time it took me to run here he could have done anything. I'll send more ANBU and go myself. He said and took off the Hokage's cloak. Present tense. The ANBU were surrounded by a ring of blue fire, and Naruto laughed like a real psycho. Why are you laughing? Quickly tell me how to put out this flame. And Bushnik shouted. Burning. Naruto shouted and the ring began to quickly narrow. The ring is narrowing. One of the ANBU shouted. What did you do, you idiot? The ANBU screamed in rage and knocked Naruto out. The third Hokage arrived with Sasuke and was able to put out the flames using the element of water. He saw all of Naruko covered in burns, she was lying unconscious and breathing heavily. Quickly, Irianina. Hiruzen shouted. Is this hatred, Naruto? It is destructive. Just like his strength. Sasuke thought about the situation. Konoha Central Hospital. Asami-chan, please report, Hiruzen ordered. Eat. In addition to burns, there are hematomas on the body, but they are not dangerous. I think it will be possible to discharge her soon, Asami said. Clear. Thank you, keep working. Hiruzen said and released the nurse. Then he noticed that Naruko's eyelids began to twitch. Hiruzen walked closer to her and she opened her eyes. Focusing her gaze, she recognized the man next to her as the Hokage. Old man? Where am I? She asked exhausted. You are in the Konoha hospital, Naruko, he answered. In the hospital? I see. Her eyes widened as if she remembered something. What's wrong with Naruto? He's in a prison cell, Naruko. He will be tried for assaulting 2 people and attempting to set fire to the clan's quarters. I hope he won't be sentenced to death. Naruko asked with tears in her eyes. In response, Hiruzen looked at Naruko with a serious look. No, old man, no. Naruko screamed. Please influence this, you can, I have no one but him, I. She lowered her head and tears appeared in her eyes, she buried herself in the pillow. The Hokage was no longer in the room, Naruko for the first time did not know what to think about him. Sasuke enters the room. Hey, Naruko. How are you? Sasuke asked excitedly. She looked at Sasuke with tears, and then began to cry. What's happened? The brunette asked again. Perhaps, maybe Naruto will be executed. I can't wait, no, he is with me. And she started sobbing again, burying herself in the pillow. Konoha prison. Well, they took away the documents, they say. I thought in annoyance and closed my eyes. Well, okay. But they almost burned down the block. It was fun. Kurama spoke. Yeah. I almost killed Sasuke and my sister. I'll just go and repeat it right now. I said with sarcasm in my voice, so that even a hedgehog could understand it. We need to get out of here. I finished my monologue. There is one plan. It's to use blue hell. And burn the entire Hokage building on. Kurama said. Yes, of course. As if I could use fire. I'm wearing chakra-suppressing handcuffs and seals. I said. I burned the seals with the help of chakra, but I weakened the handcuffs, although not completely. So they can be burned too. Said Kurama. POV Naruto. Oh, okay, let's try. I began to release chakra on my hands and blue fire formed there, which melted the handcuffs. It hurt, even a lot. Hot metal on your skin, of course it will hurt. The security guard heard the fuss and came up to see what was happening. What's going on here? The guard asked in an orderly tone. Everyone is watching your death, I said and grabbed the guard's head. I blew a blue flame across his body, he screamed in pain and soon all that was left of him was an ember. Having pulled out 2 rods, I left the cell and stopped in the middle of the corridor. Kurama, it seems to me that it's better to go up to the Hokage building itself, or do you want everyone here to die? Asked Naruto. And you're right. It's better to go outside and start an explosion from there. Said Rug. I see. Let's get started. I said and disappeared into the flames. End POV Naruto. Fast forward to Naruko. Naruko's POV. I was discharged from the hospital, and Sasuke, the third, and I went to the Konoha prison. I still can't believe that he could be sentenced to death. Although the attack on the last representative of the clan and the attempt to set the block on fire. But I definitely don't believe that he tried to kill me. Is it possible that Dark Kurama influences him that much? My dark side can do a lot of things, Naruko, I heard it in my head. A shinobi in a gray vest and a snake mask on his face ran up to us. Hokage-sama, Naruto Uzumaki has escaped. He killed one of the guards and escaped. How he overcame the chakra suppression seals and chakra handcuffs, no one knows. Shinobi reported. I see, searched the entire Hokage building and around it. He couldn't go far, the third gave the order, forgive me, Naruko. And eliminate him on the spot. Hiruzen said with steel. Did I hear it? Or did he give the order to eliminate Naruto? Brother, I beg you. Run. 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 I burst into tears. Although he poses a danger to people, he is my brother. Younger brother. Yes. The ANBU said and disappeared. We heard a sound like something exploded and black smoke appeared in the sky. Smoke is coming from the side of the residence. Said Sasuke. We rushed there. All the people began to run towards the Hokage's residence. We ran to the building and ate. The entire building was engulfed in fire and blue. Naruto, unconsciously, I asked myself a question. Turning my attention to the roof, I noticed a red glow. Hey Sasuke, look at the roof with your Sharingan, please. I asked Sasuke. She answered and turned on her 1-volume Sharingan. Sweat appeared on her face and flowed down in a path. Sasuke, what? I asked. This is Naruto. His smile from ear to ear scares me. Now he's gone, Sasuke said with fear in her voice. And then I saw him in the air flying towards us. He landed on his feet and looked at us with a mocking look. Naruto, what have you done here? Hiruzen asked coldly. This is payback. He said in a demonic voice. He began to glare at me with contempt. Look people. I was an ordinary little kid, but you hated me. There's no way. That's what you've turned me into. You wanted a demon, so get it. Naruto shouted. Bururu, Akuma no Rikaningu. Dai burned in the blue flame. A huge wave of blue fire appeared behind the brunette. Hiruzen's eyes widened at the sight. If this wave of fire reaches the village, there will be nothing left of it. It flashed through the head of the old Hokage. Having created 4 clones, he cordoned off the Hokage building. Shishienjin! The clones shouted. The barrier appeared as a large purple tetrahedral box. Only the third, Naruko, Sasuke and Naruto remained inside. The third quickly made the seals of the earth element. Doton, Doryu Heki. Jumping onto the wall, he made the seal of the element of water. Suetun, Daibakufu no Jutsu. A huge wave of water rushed towards the fire at 6,000 degrees Celsius. Naruto jumped high up because he noticed sparks in the water. Did he channel the element of lightning into the water? And you're not bad, Hiruzen, Naruto said while in the air. The fire was extinguished with great difficulty. You noticed? Hiruzen asked dumbfounded. I'm not that stupid. Like the people in the village, said Naruto coldly. He landed on the wall of the Hokage building. These people. They can't see anything beyond their noses. They turned their hatred on me, and I. Naruto, stop it. You will die here if you don't give up. Naruko shouted, interrupting him with tears. So it's necessary, he said in a calm voice. He moved behind her and took out a kunai. But I'll have to finish what I started. So that you don't suffer from loneliness, Naruto said, putting a kunai to Naruko's throat. Raikiri. Naruto was heard from behind. What the? Naruto only managed to say. Hiruzen quickly took Naruko away from the attack of some shinobi, and Naruto was pierced through the body. POV Naruto. Hiruzen took Naruko away, and my body was pierced. I looked at the kunai, which sparkled a little with lightning, and I vomited blood. Am I dying? I asked myself a question. Yes, Naruto, you are dying. I can't heal this wound, it hurt the most important organs. We'll probably meet in the next life, Kurama's last words sounded. I looked at the sky and smiled. It's time to tell her everything before I pass out forever. It flashed through my head. Naruko, she immediately responded to my call. Naruto, be patient. Help will arrive soon. She shouted back, running up to me. No, he won't arrive. Everyone benefits from my death. There are too many sins on my soul. Now listen and don't interrupt. Then I felt that I was losing consciousness. Our parents. The 4th Hokage. And Kushina Uzumaki. I know. I wasn't the best brother at all, I probably spat out the last clot of blood in my life. There were tears in her eyes and she could not utter a word. I tried to protect you myself, but I couldn't even protect myself from myself, sorry, big sister. I smiled my last sincere smile and I sank into darkness. End POV Naruto. The shinobi pulled out his hand as Naruto's body hung on it. This shinobi turned out to be a 25-year-old man, standing silver hair, a blue half-face mask, in a standard jounin uniform. His left eye with a vertical scar possesses the dojutsu of the Uchiha clan. This eye widened in surprise. Naruto. Naruko screamed and fell to her knees, hugging his body and sobbing at the top of her voice. Son. Sensei, shinobi muttered under his breath. Kakashi? Asked the dumbfounded Sarutobi. Sasuke glared at the ground with a blank stare. Kakashi's hands were shaking from the realization of who was lying in front of him. Emptiness. POV Naruto. I found myself in a void. Is this how people die? They always wander through the void, but an old man appeared in front of me. Hello Uzumaki Naruto, I am Hagoromo Otsutsuki, or the Sage of the Six Paths. Sage of the Six Paths? I thought it was just a legend. I said, dumbfounded. As you can see, no. He said with a laugh. It's too early for you to die, Naruto. I will return you to the world of the living, but I will give you 2 gifts. I will give you one personally, it will be useful in the future, and you will choose the other yourself. But I'm already dead. And how will you bring me back? You yourself are the one. I asked with skepticism. I can do this with one technique. Yes, with one technique, Hagoromo said. Any jutsu? I asked. Absolutely, Hagoromo answered. Intangibility. That's what I want. I said. Fine. Intangibility is intangibility, said Otsutsuki. Can I ask 2 questions? I asked. Come on, he answered. Here I have a fire control gene. At these words I lit my hand with a blue flame. It's 6,000 degrees here. Can I somehow control the degree of this fire? He looked at my hand, squinting and said. Try to concentrate less chakra. I tried it and the fire turned red and then normal. So that's how. And now the second question. Because I have a vague suspicion that time here at least moves differently. How much time has passed in the real world while I'm here? I asked again. So you guessed it, but no wonder. However, it's strange that you and your fire seemed dumb to me, like a cork. He burst into laughter, something similar to Naruko's laugh. And why am I thinking about this? Hey, can you answer my question? I said, slightly pouting, strangely, I haven't behaved like this for a long time. About 3 years, said the son of the ancestor. By the way, I have one more question, can I? He nodded. Why do I feel, as if, have you become, the same? He answered me. I nodded automatically like a dummy. How did he understand that? Well, look, it's simpler. I healed you myself, a little, and so to speak, there is no more dark side. Thank you, what do you mean? Stop, that is, kurama. Yes, so to speak, the seal of the god of death is beyond my competence. I see, thank you, it's a pity. He became a good friend to me. Well, return me to the world, I said, sighing heavily. I didn't want to continue this dialogue. The light began to blind me and I found myself again in the dark, but in some kind of box. Probably in a coffin, I told myself and tried to turn on intangibility. The hand passed through the coffin and I completely stood up, coming out of the coffin. Why? Is everything so slow? I asked quietly to myself. You don't even have to call Kurama, unfortunately, like me. He died. I thought about it again with sadness. Deciding to look around in another place, I disappeared into the fire and appeared in some forest. It's good that I created such a space-time technique, I said. I just went straight until I came to the river. I looked at myself and was dumbfounded. The hair grew a little, the right eye was red with a vertical pupil, and the left became a Rinnegan. What the? Hagoromo was talking about this gift? I don't even know how to train him. I got angry. I started to think about what I should do with it. Okay, I'll figure out the techniques later. What should I do with my personality? How can I hide the Rinnegan? I began to think frantically. The Rinnegan and personality can be hidden under a mask, and then normal clothes can be found, otherwise they are buried in this moronic kimono. I continued across the river, but I hid the Rinnegan by closing my eye. It was uncomfortable at first, but then I got used to it. Arriving in the city, I started looking for shops with masks and clothes. I found a mask store and approached the seller. Hello, do you have masks with one hole for the eye? I asked and hoped that they were there. I think they were. I'll look at the warehouse now, the salesman said and went deeper into the store. And then I realized that I had no money. What to do? I thought and went behind the counter. I found a kunai that was apparently needed to prevent a robbery. Taking it, I walked deeper into the store. The owner turned around, but I managed to plant a kunai in his head. A white mask with one hole for an eye fell out of his hands. Maybe he has some clothes here, I thought. Having dragged the body into the closet, I began to look for any clothes. I found either a hoodie or a black sweatshirt with a deep hood. I also got hold of some more sweatpants and black sneakers. Having dressed in new clothes, I managed to find a mirror. And yet it's a robe. But it suits me. Only the sleeves are long, but oh well, I said to myself. I put on the hood and saw how my right eye glowed, and the shadow from the hood fell on the mask. Wow. I look scary, I said admiringly. Okay, we need to get out of here, I said to myself, having finished examining the mirror. I left the store, and then after another 20 minutes, I left the town. Walking along the road next to the forest, I thought. I wonder, how is Naruko doing? Has she become stronger? And has she recovered from my death? I thought. How did I hear such a familiar voice, but I couldn't recognize it right away. This, who? Naruko. I thought. And she appeared on the horizon with some old man. I understand, Ero-sanin, we will soon arrive in Konoha. Stop acting like an idiot, Naruko said. I stopped. They also stopped when they saw me and somehow tensed up. Well, hello, I said in a deep voice. Who are you? And why are you wearing a mask? Now I asked warily how I understood Jiraiya. Yeah, I heard about him before, from Naruki's words. Apparently he really is an idiot. Speaking of her, she has become a real beauty, but her eyes and character, they have changed a lot, more than I apparently thought. Forgive me, little sister. I'm very sorry, as I said. I'm a terrible brother, but I hope you will still be happy. I turned my gaze from her to Jiraiya. I need to answer something, before the atmosphere becomes heavy. Toad Hermit Jiraiya. Nice to meet you. My name is Jigaku. He disappeared for 10 days. Again. Bichino, 1, July 29, 2021, 029. Jigaku? Jiraiya asked in a strange voice. Yes. I won't fight with you, there's no point, Naruto said. Naruto directed chakra to his right eye to make it glow. We will meet again, Naruto said in a cold voice. And disappeared in red fire. Do you know him, Ero-sanin? Naruko asked. No, I don't know, but I need to tell Tsuna about him. He's kind of strange. Okay, let's continue on our way. He said with a smile, and they continued on their way. A week later. Naruto began to make money by killing small nuke-nin and gangs of robbers. During the breaks, he tried to do some training, but he just didn't have time for that yet, so he decided to gain experience and at the same time remember the past, so to speak. But nothing lasts forever under the sun, and he needed equipment. He couldn't last long on the bandwagon. While in the city, he went to a weapon store where he bought shurikens, kunai, and other ninja equipment, and he threw all this into his spatial pocket. Well, at least I bought some weapons, Naruto noted. He left the city and wandered wherever his eyes led him. Judging by the knowledge that I have learned over these 3 years, the Akatsuki group began to hunt tailed creatures, and their leader has the Rinnegan. Perhaps he will teach me it. If not, then I will force him, Naruto thought and went for information. Akatsuki Sanctuary. Ova Seal, Ova Madara. I let Rin go, but I still continue to do this. Thought the man in the orange spiral mask. Madara, a man covered in piercings and with a Rinnegan in his eye sockets, approached the mask wearer. A certain Jigaku is digging under us. What do we do? Maybe he can help me? I'll deal with him myself. Where is he now? He asked coldly.